A guy that looks like he's homeless talking about scams. This should be good. You may be thinking, wait a second, you're calling education and trading a scam? Don't you sell educational courses? Yes, I do. But I want to be straightforward about this. Sure, from a business standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, this probably isn't the best video for me to do, but I just want to keep it real and just shoot straight with you so you have a realistic viewpoint of how education and training really should be viewed and fit together. So starting off here, this circle represents a consistent trader. Somebody that can consistently bring in gains over the long term. Not, I made a few good trades here or a few good trades over there. Just somebody that is consistent. This doesn't necessarily mean they do it full time. Maybe they have a full-time job, but they can bring in consistent supplemental income. Whatever that situation is, this represents the consistent, successful trader. And what most education does is say, hey, buy my system, buy my strategy, let me teach you, and you get the full circle. I will make you consistent. I will make you successful. I will do everything for you so that you are this whole circle. But that's not how education works. And like I said, I do sell courses. I do sell training. But I'm sitting here telling you that if you buy one of my trainings, if you buy one of my courses, I am not going to give you this whole circle. You will not be a consistent long-term trader by buying my courses. Why is that the case? And why is education a scam when it's presented in that light? Again, people marketing, I got a system for you. Let me teach you. I'm going to make you the whole circle. Well, education actually works like this within the context of this situation. Now this should be proportionate, but it's actually really hard to draw a circle, so bear with me, but these levels should be proportionate, these levels should be proportionate. This right here is the education. Education training is a huge, huge part of becoming a successful trader in the long run. There's no doubt about that. It is a part. But you'll notice we don't have all the areas of the circle filled in. That's because education can only do so much. It is a large section, no doubt about that, but it's only a section. There are other areas there. So let's talk about some of these other sections. First area is over here. And this is where we talk about realistic expectations. What do I mean by that? Well, if you think that if you buy somebody's educational programs or services and that next week or next month you're going to be driving around in fancy cars, going on exotic vacations, living in a mansion, you don't have realistic expectations. You're never going to become a full trader because this little area here of not having realistic expectations is going to corrupt all these other areas. Sure, you may be going through education. Maybe it's decent education. Maybe it's worthwhile. But if because of that person that sold you the course has all these illusions of grandeur, you're not going to have realistic expectations. And when those expectations don't come true in the time frame that you may want them to, then that's going to start to just flow over into everything else and it's going to destroy the circle. You're not going to be able to have long-term success because you never had realistic expectations to start off with. And education isn't going to give you that in terms of, well, what's realistic? Now, I try my best, and that's the point of this video. You need to have realistic education, but if you think trading is some sort of get rich overnight, get rich in a week, get rich in a month type deal, that's not how it works. So you need to have realistic expectations as you go into the education. Next one we have over here, and this is belief and hard work. It's amazing how many people get education or whatever and then say, wow, that's a lot of stuff. You mean I have to go through all that? I have to paper trade? I have to, develop strategies? I have to form plans? Yeah, that's how it works. Sorry, but you don't just sign up for a newsletter subscription, have somebody tell you when to buy and sell, and then make money. It's not that easy. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to have hard work. If you're not going to believe in yourself, if you're not going to have hard work, then you're not going to be able to become an overall trader. Now, you got to work hard because this is a big section of the triangle or of the circle, right? I guess back to kindergarten for me. I don't know my shapes. But big section here in regards to the square. So yeah, that is going to take a lot of hard work. But if you don't have hard work and if you don't have belief, you're never going to be able to accomplish all that, and you're not going to get to where you want to go. But again, if you're not having realistic expectations, then your belief in hard work is going to be thrown off because you're thinking, wow, I've been working hard. It's been 2 weeks and I've been working hard. Where's my fancy house? Well, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Now, something that assists here, and the age-old question, Clay, if you're such a nice guy, why don't you just offer education for free? You're such a scumbag. Well, down here you need to have motivation. And I understand, all the marketing gimmicks of huge houses and all that stuff, fancy cars, beautiful women, for you ladies, beautiful men with six-pack abs. I understand, maybe that's some sort of motivation. But in the real, just grand scheme of things, in a real kind of practical way, that's why I charge money. Now, of course, that's not the only reason. But when you pay for something, you want to get money out of it, especially when you're a cheapskate like me. If you give somebody money, that's going to trigger something in your back of the mind that says, you know what, I paid for this. I want to get my money's worth. I'm going to work hard. So this area is going to help over here. You need motivation in order to have belief and more so work hard. But again, by charging money, by paying for something, and not necessarily me. If you pay for something else, you understand how it works. When you pay, you have that, there's something in your mind that triggers and says, okay, I put some of my hard-earned money here. I need to get my money's worth. So that's one of the reasons why I charge, because you're going to be motivated. Sure, you can look at all the free stuff you ever want, but you're never going to quite take it seriously enough because there's no really motivation. Yeah, I'll go through it now. I'll come back a little later. Maybe next week I'll check something else out. Wait, where was I? I guess I'll just start. There's no structure to anything because you don't really have any motivation. It's all free. And you don't need to get your money's worth out of anything because you haven't paid for it. So motivation is a key part to becoming a well-rounded trader because you're going to need hard work. And then finally, and this I want it to be the smallest part of the circle, but personal risk tolerance. What do I mean by that? Personal risk tolerance. Well, if you ever buy or if you come across a strategy that says, I have a strategy where you do this, this, and that, and you make money, those are a joke. Why are those a joke? Because there is no ABC set way of doing things. We're all different creatures of habit. We're different creatures of risk. What may be risky for you is not risky for me. You may love roller coasters. I am scared to death of roller coasters. I don't like that feeling. To me, that's way too risky. You may say, hey, let's go jump out of an airplane and go skydiving. No thanks, I have no interest in that. We both have different risk tolerance levels. Same with trading. So if you go and buy somebody's educational system that's going to teach you this holy grail of how to trade, well, what happens if it doesn't fit up with your personal risk tolerance? Maybe they have a perfect system, but you have a hard time following the rules in it. Have you ever thought, why do I have such a hard time following rules? It's because you don't feel comfortable with it. There's too much risk involved, and you're getting way too antsy, which is causing you to break those rules. So you need to figure out your personal risk tolerance. And the reason I want it to be so small up here is because sometimes it's just as small as, what happens if I tone down my position size or make a little tweak here or a little tweak there? Usually it's not a glaringly obvious thing, but it does play a factor within becoming a well-rounded trader. So again, yes, education is a whole part of it, but education is definitely a scam when it's presented in the way of, hey, buy this and you're going to become an awesome trader. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more outside of the education that still needs to factor in, and you are responsible for it. Me, I can't give you belief for hard work. Sure, I can charge you some money and make you want to get your money's worth, but outside of that, there's nothing I can do. I don't know what your personal risk tolerance is. I'm trying to give you realistic expectations, but if you say, Clay, you don't know what you're talking about, then sorry, I don't know what more I can do over here. So I'm trying to help out here. There, that's totally up to you. You got to have the hard work and you got to have the motivation. So keep this all in mind. Don't go buying some sort of educational system, educational strategy, whatever you want to call it, and then or go to attend some seminar or something like that. It's not quite that easy. There's more to education than just buy it and you're going to be successful. So keep that in mind going forward. If you found this video helpful, I'd like for you to do a couple things. If you're watching this on my site, click one of the share buttons up above. If you're watching this on YouTube, click that like button. And regardless of where you're watching it on my site or YouTube, leave comments below. I like to hear from people, and I will do my best to interact with you. So do those few things, and little clicks of the mouse like that go a long way. Thanks for watching. Remember, keep this in mind now and get out there, work hard, stay motivated, have realistic expectations, and locate where that personal risk tolerance level is. And that's going to help you get to the full, well-rounded trader of consistent success.